Who are you?
I'm Ward Smith, and I'm the producer and artistic director of the Off Central Players here at Studio Grand Central.
And when and how did this theater start?
Well, actually, you got a minute. I was doing work over in Tampa at a small little place called the Heather Theater, and my sister, who lives over here in St. Pete, got tired of driving over to Tampa and seeing me perform, and she said, "You gotta keep an eye on something in St. Petersburg, and maybe we can have a little theater over there." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. I don't think you know what goes into this. We got to live in a building. We can't rent. We have to have lights. We have to have seats. We have to have it." She goes, "Well, quit being a smartass and just, keep your eye out." She said, "Your wife's in real estate. Have her keep an eye out too, and you guys can, just keep an eye out." And maybe 3 years went by, maybe 4 years went by, and we'd see something come up now, and it's just it didn't work out, and nothing was panning out. But a year ago, a little more than that, it seems, because it's been so fast. A year ago, I was driving by this place. It was during the pandemic, and then I saw a for sale sign out in front, and found out that it was for sale. This place was Andy Matheny's acting studio. She'd been here for 10 years. And for anyone to be in any business in this town for 10 years is a testament, and let alone for her to be in this business 10 years, how small it is on top of that. Very, very niche oriented. So I'd call this was like a creative cookie factory, if you will. So I wanted to keep it that way. When this became available, I couldn't believe it. So I told my sister about it. I said, you got to see this place. And if you look at our blog story, actually my sister wrote it. It's called The Tale of Two Siblings, and how it was the best of times and the worst of times, how it was the best of times, how this thing kind of fell in our lap. But the worst of time is when her husband of 30 years was dying of Alzheimer's. And so I said, "Listen, we can always find another property. You take care of Danny first." And she said, no, find out what you can, and let's see if we can take a look at it. So my wife called the listing agent. We got in the next day, and then within a few hours we made an offer, and that was on a Saturday, and then Sunday we saw it, Monday we made an offer, and we closed on it. And I was doing another play at the time. You remember, Anna? It was around February, March. Mm-hmm. And haven't really stopped after I finished that play. Actually, I started to work on my lines here because it was quiet and I didn't disturb my wife, who was working at home, and so I could play my guitar in here as loud as I could, and had a lot of work to do in here, a lot of painting, a lot of redoing the floors and curtains, and a lot of cosmetic stuff, electronics and whatnot. And so here we are a year later now. We're starting our second season. We're working on show number 12. It's called The Number, and it opens Thursday. We really, really haven't stopped. Couldn't have done it without my sister, who really, put the support behind it. She said, "I'm with you on this if you want to do this." So I said, "Okay, let's give it a shot." And it started just her and I, and then in a year's time, which is really a short amount of time, we've added 2 staff members and a full-time Chris Pesa, you met up front. So there's a really small staff. There's 5 of us, and we have lots of room to grow, but we're just getting the steps kind of put together on the existence of this theater. It's very tough to do. We've got a lot of competition, but we are somewhat situated right between, I guess, strategically, physically, psychologically, right between American stage and freefall. And we exist. So we're that bridge. It's community theater and professional theater, but we are professional. And the community in the sense that we're here for the Grand Central neighborhood, not just for that, but we exist for this community. And to let people know that we exist, you can see we're only about 43 seats. We can shoehorn in a couple more people on the side. Tops, we're 50. But we're able to present work that's really underrepresented to audiences that are underserved. And we like to also offer opportunities for new and emerging artists, original scripts, original stories from writers from right outside the door here, because there's a lot of theaters, there's a lot of bureaucracies, there's a lot of red tape that prevent artists from at least getting their work heard, not necessarily produced, but just a staged reading, just heard, so they can possibly go forward or at least develop it. And so we exist to have front of the house artists, you know, on stage, and also back of the house to writing, designing, you know, light designing, set designing. This is an outlet, a creative outlet for folks in the community who are can really cut their teeth on a professional experience. And we're very happy to be in this neighborhood.
What is your background?
Wow, my background, I've been at this for about 40 years now in one iteration or another. I started as an actor, then I was a stand-up comic in the 80s, toured all over the country, and I opened for David Spade, Andrew Dice Clay, Adam Sandler, and Dennis Miller, and all those people. They made it, I didn't, so, but they don't have a nice place like this though, so. But that was in the 80s, and I've always done television and radio and some film work and a lot of stage work. So I've never really dreamed about having my own place. A lot of people say, is this a dream come true? I said, not really. I mean, it's a notion. You sit around with your friends and you think, wouldn't it be great to have our own boutique? Yeah, that'd be kind of neat. Wouldn't it be great to have your own lounge? Yeah, my own jazz club. Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, it's a notion. You talk about it, and maybe it's a little fantasy, but maybe I said that once or twice. But it's not like I pursued it. I gotta have my place. I gotta have my place. It just kind of just happened. And it's so very organic in that, to where there's some stuff where methodically we're planning it out. We're making our steps, our organizational structures, or because we're a 501c, we're crossing all our T's and dotting all our I's in that regard. And then the other part of it, we're just kind of making it up as we go along. And it's like that lobby out front. Chris and my sister have never done anything, I think, like that before, so that was an opportunity. Oh, what the heck, let's try it, and boom. So, and that's what we exist for. I mean, you've got to be part of our mission statement is in sharing the power of creativity. And everyone has it. It just, maybe they've never been, well, I've never had an outlet. I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to be an actor. I've always thought about designing this or painting that. Well, for some reason, someone told them, no, you can't. But here we'd like to be able to at least entertain those folks who at least have the notion, if they have an idea for acting or designing or any part of the arts, that they can come in the door and we can help them through it, or we can help develop them, because we grow too. I mean, I don't know what you can do until you come in the door, you know, and then maybe I learn, wow, that's how you do it, that's a great technique, or and I didn't know that type of medium existed or that type of technique existed before. So I think this is a big learning experience for the purveyor, for me as a provider, for those who want to come in and experience it. And you can see it's a very intimate experience. My back row is probably 15 feet away from me. And so you're right in someone's lap. You're sitting on the set. Mm-hmm. I'm in the front row. So it's you are a fly on the wall in all these little stories that are told here. And I think it's a unique experience that some other a theatrical experience that you probably won't get anywhere else.
Why St. Pete and not LA?
Well, the family's here, and that's a good question. Everyone says, why not go to LA? Why not move down? One, they don't do theater in LA, and you're just another fish in the sea out there. And I was touring and doing stand-up comedy around the country, and with plans of going to LA, and eventually, you know, my family was still here in Florida, and eventually came back here. I got married here and had my first child here. And second child here too. And it's as the business changed, it found out that we were able to still do it here. It may not be on the same level, the grand scale, the market's different, the pay is different, but you can still do it here. You're still able to compete for radio, for television and film jobs in Atlanta, because it's 8 hours from here and there's more work going on in Atlanta than there is in LA right now. So the work eventually came. I was busy, you know, raising a family and doing another job while I was doing the other things. And so as time went by, here we are. And I don't think I could probably get this opportunity in LA or New York or anywhere else. It was just kind of kismet. It was just kind of the luck of the draw, a blessing, and it's a little bit of everything.
Any final words of wisdom you can leave us with?
Oh boy. It's really good to have fantastic partners. And I think, you know, because I'm not an MBA at all. I'm a show person. My sister is the business person, so that's where the show and the business kind of works together. any endeavor, theater, restaurant, I mean, they fail for two reasons: underfunded and poorly managed. And if you, whatever your endeavor is, you know, have your funds in a row and make sure you have your organization in a row. And we've been very fortunate. My sister is a very, you know, a geeky, wonky business head, and you know, really can't go. I need to have that. I need to have those constraints or those, you know, those fiscal, you know, governors that said, got to watch this, keep it in these realms. So we can do this, we can only do that. Okay. But they're not handcuffs, it's just boundaries and some realities that we have to deal with in this small little box. Like I said, there's only 5 of us and we're learning it as we go. Surround yourself with great people. And, you know, the old axiom, if you're loving it, you're not working anymore, because it's just something that you do.